Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost, and on this channel we're talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And I'm calling this video Narcissistic Abuse Amnesia, right? It's not a clinical term, but it's something that I think is the exact description of some of what goes on in narcissistic abuse. So what's amnesia? Well, the definition of amnesia is the loss of memories, including facts, information, and experiences. Amnesia can also include losing your identity, right? Now, when we're with a narcissist, a lot of what goes on in the relationship is what's called gaslighting, where they confuse you, They make you not trust yourself. You might say something happened or ask them about something or accuse them of something, and they'll completely distort your reality. They'll tell you it didn't happen like that. They didn't mean it like that. You're overreacting. Maybe you're too sensitive. Maybe you're crazy. Narcissists love to use that one, right? And let me just emphasize that because they constantly try and trigger you, constantly try and take you outside of yourself, that like you can feel like you're going crazy when you're with someone who you can't have a decent conversation with, who you can't try and get some resolution with. So you're constantly trying to validate yourself, explain yourself, get them to understand, and they're constantly gaslighting you into basically forcing you to see it their way. Narcissistic world, their way's the highway, right? They take no accountability or responsibility. They just love distorting your sense of reality and perception and wearing you down. So we lose our sense of what happened, right? In fact, they do distort our memories. We do have memory loss. I'll go into cognitive dissonance in a minute. But because it is really hard for us to know what's real and what's false, we lose our trust in our own judgment. We're being constantly bombarded with this other distorted reality, right? The reality the narcissist wants you to adopt, which will always be that they're right, and that you exist to serve them. And they like doing this because this form of manipulation wears you down. It's a form of manipulation that makes you easy to manipulate, easy to control, right? So cognitive dissonance is the idea that the brain can't hold on to two opposing ideas, right? The brain can't hold on to my dad loves me and my dad abuses me. So we tend to choose the thought that we prefer. My dad loves me. I can't put the two together. He tells me he loves me, but he's doing this behavior. The cognitive dissonance comes in, and it's a survival reaction of the brain, right? It just can't hold on to two opposing ideas. It just can't. So cognitive dissonance is the fact that the brain will then ignore the abuse, right? Loss of memory. Minimize it. Make it not really count. Because it wants to believe this thought, my dad loves me, my dad loves me, my dad loves me. It can't hold on to, and it's not just, you've got the brain can't hold on to two opposing ideas, and you've got the trauma involved in accepting the truth. I spoke on the channel before, right, that I had to lie to myself for a long time. I wouldn't admit my parents were abusive. And I told myself a story when my dad brutally discarded me, that because he couldn't help but be a bully and abusive, the reason he discarded me was because he loved me and knew that he couldn't be any other way. And so therefore, out of love, it was why he basically just threw me away. That wasn't the truth. The truth is he's a narcissist, and discarding your child is brutal and unacceptable, especially when I hadn't done anything wrong. There was no reason for it. The only one thing I did was at one time when he was yelling at me, I said, I'm not going to let you speak to me like that anymore in my house, because it was affecting my anxiety and I was having panic attacks over it. But I spoke up to him, of course, and that's something that narcissists don't like, us speaking up for ourselves. And he wasn't used to that from me, because I'd always spent my life around trying to please him. So let's go into this. We get distorted memories. the facts are distorted. We've spent so long trying to please the narcissist, right? We tend to over justify it. They'll often make you feel sorry for them or guilty about how you feel, right? I know that that's a lot of this cycle is the guilt they put on us, right? So we get distorted ideas of the facts. We've started minimizing abuse because I want my dad to love me. I want my dad to love me. So I'm going to forget that he was violent. I'm going to forget that, he bullies me. I'm going to forget that he's treating me in an inappropriate, not in whatever inappropriate way. I want to believe this. Yeah. So we tend to tell ourselves stories. Yeah. Stories because sometimes we have to, like I did for a while, because I couldn't accept the truth that he just really didn't love me and could just throw me away. And then that's the narcissist. You see, they're not emotionally, they don't care about you. They're not capable of love. So to them, to just throw away their child for no reason, right? Because it hurts, because it would traumatize them. They don't feel guilt, remorse or anything. Yeah. He just gets on with his life, will make up a smear campaign about what was wrong with me and will never, ever care about it. But I was tortured over it. So we sometimes change the facts and get the narcissistic abuse amnesia just to save ourselves. I had to for a while until I could fully acknowledge and accept what really happened. It was easier for me to pretend that it was out of love in some way. That was the way I distorted the facts, but I had to do it at that time to protect myself because my inner child couldn't accept the truth, right? So we have to get ready to accept the truth. We've got to be healed enough and in supportive environments. If you want to really heal and transform your life, join my program Sovereign, please. It is a steal and it is just such a great community. And honestly, you will evolve in a way that you can't imagine. But so we also have the facts distorted for us by the narcissist, who's constantly distorting our sense of reality and what happened and, projecting what they want us to think. Information, yeah? The narcissist will blatantly cheat and say that didn't happen. They'll do it, the information gets distorted. So it gives us this narcissistic abuse amnesia. The other thing they do, so amnesia can include losing your identity, forgetting who you are. We all lose ourselves in this cycle, even talking to my clients this week and, what can be quite hard to acknowledge is how subliminal a lot of this is. So you don't realize you're being controlled sometimes. But what you suddenly realize is I've stopped speaking to my friends. I've stopped doing my hobbies. I've stopped doing the things that make me me. I've stopped evolving myself. All I'm doing is trying to damage limitation, protect myself from what the narcissist might do next and be what they need me to be to keep the peace, right? That's not life. That's not a great way to live. And that's certainly not a way to evolve. So we lose our identity, we lose ourselves. Why? Because the narcissist does that on purpose. Over time, erode your self-esteem in order to mold you and manipulate you into who they want you to be, not who you really are. The narcissist often will get irritated by the things that make you you. It's not what they love about you. What they like about you is how much they can control you. So, there might be certain things that they do like about you, but it's normally things that feed their ego, like the way you look or that you're intelligent or what they can get out of you, which can just be your energy, right? And that's a very important resource that we have. Where we put our energy matters. I talk to my clients all the time about team, time, energy, attention, and money. Where you put those four things, right, is going to determine the direction of your life. Put them in investing in yourself. Put all of them. Time, energy, attention, and money. Money counts in this. I know that people get funny about money, but money is a resource. It's a tool. It's here to help leverage us. The best thing I did during narcissistic, I didn't find someone necessarily who could help me with what narcissistic abuse in the way that I wanted at the time, but I did really invest in personal development and growing myself. And that was very, very valuable, right? Because through developing myself, putting my time, energy, attention, and money into learning, into evolving, into growing, right, it's made me able to do this today, right? Not because I was taught how to do this in itself, but because I became a human being who had the wisdom, who had the knowledge, who had the evolution and strength, right? And got better at healing myself. So time, energy, attention, money are your team, right? Sometimes we think because we're not used to investing in ourselves in ways that are good for us, that we get resistant to it. But even our time, your time is precious, right? Time is the one resource out of the four that you'll never get back. And a lot of us that have been through this cycle, myself included, we feel like a lot of our time's been taken from us, because a lot of my time, decades, was spent in narcissistic abuse. Just going to have my coffee, guys. So not that I need to be more hyper. I'm obviously full of I'm full of fuel, but I do love a coffee. So we give our time away too freely. Right? And time, people drain our energy. Where you put your time matters. Think about it. Do an inventory, because a lot of us spend a lot of time at work, and then we have very, very limited spare time. Right? That might not be you, might be you. But like, if you are one of those people that actually have a lot of time on your hands, you are sick. I've met a lot of people through these cycles who get very sick from them. Time is the most important resource, because you won't get it back. Really think about it as an investment. Think about time as money in the bank. Like, every minute's like a coin. If you wouldn't spend your money in a certain way, question whether you should put your time there, because time is the thing you won't get back. You can create more money in this world, but you can't create time back. So if we look at time as an investment, right, we stop giving it away to unhealthy people. We stop allowing our time to be exploited. We stop letting people mess us around, right? Energy. Think about, when you're with people, what drains your energy and what expands your energy. You want to put yourself in places that expand you. Yeah, you can find people on YouTube. You don't have to, you might not have them in your immediate community, right? But anything that expands you, gives you more energy, is life-giving, is a good test. There are some things that we have to do in our daily life that we don't want to do, but they're part of the course. If you've got kids, you've got to get up and you've got to get them dressed and ready for school, right? And it might feel draining sometimes, right? So we have to accept some of those things. But where we do have gaps, and they're not non-negotiables, right? Because we love our kids and we want to make sure they're okay. But like, if they're not non-negotiables, things like that, then you get to actually really look at where you're spending your energy and what's giving you energy and what's depleting your energy. Attention, yeah? Look at what sucks your attention. Is it feeding you positively? Is it fearing you? Things that fear us, things that scare us, things that traumatize us, that don't want to put our attention there. Things that grow us, expand us, help us become more of who we are. What the narcissist does is erode your self-esteem, erode your identity, and make you less than. We get shrunken down so we don't disturb. My dad all the time, I would constantly, like after I'd seen him, I would be in a spin, because I'd be like, did I say the wrong thing? Because I didn't know what was going to happen next. I'd constantly go round and round ruminating, like, oh my God, what do you think he thought of that? Do you think I was good enough? Do you think? I was just constantly ruminating. Narcissists put you in that kind of spin. So where we put our attention matters. Am I becoming more of me? Because people that are healthy for you, they help expand you in the things that make you unique, yeah? I get to be more expressed. I get to be more of Ellie. Even the quirky, weird bits about me, I'm not that conventional, as you can probably tell. Like, I'm a bit quirky, I'm a bit weird. But people that love me, they're the best things about me. Like, they like to expand those bits, that they're the bits that they find cute, right? So are you becoming more of yourself or less of yourself? Doesn't even have to be with a narcissist, but just a good litmus test. Money. Don't be scared to spend your money in ways that grow and expand you. That's what they don't tell. Like, that's what rich people know, and they don't tell people who haven't got a lot of money, right? Rich people invest in themselves. They invest in their growth. They invest in their awareness, consciousness, coaching, all that stuff, right? And you have to start somewhere in life. Do you know what I mean? So you can invest in sovereign, but if it feels good to you, if it, not because you have to, not because you need fixing, but because it would expand you. If it feels expansive, it's worth the investment, even if it's a bit scary. I've made many moves in my life, right, that were priceless. They were priceless because they expanded me, even though they made no sense financially for me to make that kind of investment at the time. And we have to make brave moves in growth. Growth isn't in our comfort zone. Growth is outside of it. So time, energy, attention, money. This is your team. This is your team that you've got to use in this universe, right? All of its currency. Think of it like currency. Time especially, because remember, we won't get it back. So think about this. Are you in the narcissistic amnesia? Are your thoughts, memories, facts being distorted? Have you started adopting a different perception because the narcissist manipulated you to thinking things weren't as they were? What you feel inside is the truth. You know what happened on some level. Have you been suffering cognitive dissonance? Have you lost yourself in some ways? Have you let go of pieces and parts of you? It's not because of age. People think, oh, God, I get older and I can't do that. That's not true. You know, we get to grow ourselves. Are you growing? Are you evolving? Are you expanding? Because you're not, narcissists don't like growth. They're here to stop your purpose, to stop your expansion and growth. I'm here to like set us all free and enhance that. So thank you for being here. Do keep liking, subscribing and sharing. I hope you have a wonderful day. Lots of love and I'll speak to you soon.